Zoom, cybersecurity for the people, the consumer edition. Zoom boom has demand for video conference tech growing from nursery schools to governments across the world have placed their citizens on lockdown. Download video conferencing app has soared to record highs, and the companies behind that have seen their share prices rise while the rest of the global stock market tanks. Zoom, which allows users to talk up to 99 other people simultaneously, has emerged at the top of the pile for apps often leaning downloading off the chart in the Apple Store. The company does not provide daily downloads, but app tracking from Aptiva says Zoom was downloaded 2.13 million times around the world since March 23rd, the day the lockdown that was announced from the UK, 56,000 a day from 2 months. The app has been used from virtual classes to church service and even blind dates and stag doses. It offers a free version for calls of less than 40 minutes, but it is the world's biggest business for which Zoom was intended. Corporate license of big companies cost $15.99 per month per host and requires a minimum of 50 hosts. The revenue increased at 85% to $1.66 million. Zoom recent surge in popularity is not gone unnoticed by investors. Zoom video communication shares soared to $70 in January. It was up $150 a share on Monday, July the 31st. Some investors got excited and actually invested in the wrong company. Once again, Zoom has been taking off since the coronavirus.
You may not have heard of it just a few months ago, but with the nation now on lockdown and millions working from home, the video service Zoom has become the go-to for many looking to connect with friends, family, and coworkers. But there's now a new warning from Homeland Security officials on whether Zoom could be vulnerable to spying. ABC News Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas has those details.
It's the video meeting app increasingly popular in the era of social distancing. But today, the Department of Homeland Security is deeply concerned that Zoom users may be vulnerable to spying by foreign governments. Zoom, now seeing 300 million daily meeting participants, could be used to eavesdrop on citizens and be an opportunity for espionage, according to that new Homeland Security bulletin. It flatly states any organization currently using or considering using Zoom should evaluate the risk of its use.
Hostile intelligence services may use this as an opportunity to collect information that they normally would not have access to.
Of particular, according to the intelligence analysis, China, the country where some of Zoom's development is done. The document warning China's access to Zoom servers makes Beijing uniquely positioned to target U.S. public and private sector users.
Many people are working from home and having discussions they normally would have at work remotely. So if you choose to use those type of systems out of convenience, then you're making yourself vulnerable to this type of espionage.
The alert comes less than a month after the FBI warned that hackers were able to interrupt calls with obscene or disruptive messages, so-called Zoom bombing, like this one that disrupted a town board meeting earlier this month.
Black people.
Since then, Zoom has increased security, including adding password protection to calls. And a Zoom spokesperson telling ABC News the company disagrees with the intelligence analysis, calling it heavily misinformed, adding that workers in China lack the power or access to make substantive changes to our platforms or the means to access any meeting content.
And Pierre Thomas joins us now. Pierre, what else is Zoom saying in response to this Homeland Security bulletin?
Well, they're saying that they have layers of security and that they're constantly updating to deal with privacy challenges. And they say any Zoom meetings that take place outside of China are not routed through servers there.
Pierre Thomas for us tonight. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.
Cybersecurity for the people. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Hey everyone, it's Farah from Zoom. And in this brief video, we're going to show you how you can stop Zoom bombing in its tracks. As the host of the meeting, you have all of the controls at your fingertips to remove anyone from the meeting that may have joined accidentally at the wrong time or isn't supposed to be there at all. You also have all of the abilities to stop folks from sharing their screen inappropriately or chatting things to the audience as well. In addition to that, we also have several features that we've already built into our product to help you manage and customize the experience that you want your end users to have, while adding extra layers of security if you like. We're going to review all of that in hopefully under 5 minutes, so stay with us. First things first, I want to show you one of the easiest things for you to turn on today that will help restrict people from joining a meeting that are not supposed to be there. This is our waiting room feature. I'm going to share my screen and navigate over to our settings tab. When you sign into Zoom, you'll see your settings on the left-hand side. And I'm going to go from my settings tab over to my meeting tab here. Now down the meeting tab, we'll see the advanced options. We can skip right down to that and we'll scroll down until we find waiting room. Now the waiting room feature is something that you can turn on at your account level, and you can light this up for every single meeting that you host. The default that Zoom will apply will say all participants. This will enforce every single person to hit the waiting room before the meeting commences. What I would suggest is using guest participants only. This will allow internal participants from your organization to seamlessly join the meeting without hitting the waiting room, as long as they are signed into their Zoom account. Anyone else that's not part of your organization will hit that waiting room. You also have the ability to customize the title, logo, and description using the pen tool here. And this is where I have a note to my team saying, please make sure you're signed into Zoom to bypass the waiting room, where it will catch any other unwanted guests. You can of course expand on the messaging here. Now this can be applied to every single meeting, or when you're at the scheduling level, you can enter your topic, date, time, duration, all sorts of good information. And at the bottom of this, just apply enable waiting room specifically to this meeting. What it'll look like when you launch your meeting, you can see that I'm going to share my entire desktop with you here, is that it allows folks that are within my organization to join the meeting seamlessly. We can see Giselle has already joined. And when I launch the Manage Participants tab, we'll be able to see other people that are able to join seamlessly and anyone that might get stuck in the waiting room. Once this waiting room lights up, I'll show you how you can admit people, put them back in the waiting room, and even remove them from the session if they're not meant to be here. Now, a couple other things that might happen while you're in the meeting could pertain to sharing your screen, sharing content, or even having somebody chat within the meeting when they're not supposed to be chatting. And so if I were to see, let's see, if anybody joined accidentally, for example, Alec, I can hover over him to remove him from the session. And if I remove Alec from the session, he won't be able to rejoin. So we can see that Giselle actually had signed back in. We can see that if Giselle was not part of our organization, she would hit this waiting room. Of course, if she forgot to sign in, she'll also hit the waiting room. And from here, I can remove her from the waiting room or admit her into the meeting as well. We'll also see from the screen share perspective that I have an up arrow next to the option to screen share that'll allow you to limit who can share to the host. Now, we know that there are going to be some instances where you do need to turn it on so that other members of your team, your organization, or your class can share content. If somebody else starts sharing before they can share that content, you as the host will always have an emergency red stop share button at the top of your screen as well. Now we can see that we have a chat here. If I open this up, we can see that Wyatt's trying to solicit people to follow him on his Instagram, and I can limit who can chat in this team meeting by either canceling the ability for anyone to chat with each other or making it host only. So all of the messaging comes to me and nothing inappropriate is shared with the rest of the group. Now those are some of the basics on how you can control the in-meeting experience. If I head back over to our settings page and specifically over to the meeting schedule, there are a couple other features that are built right in. So when you're scheduling your meeting, you will have the ability to require registration. This will show you every email address of anybody that registered to join your event. You also have the option to use one of Zoom's single serve random meeting ID so that this meeting ID can't be shared externally to your organization multiple times. We would definitely recommend against using your personal meeting ID with any external facing meetings if there's a concern for that link to be reposted. I always use mine for internal events anyway. You also have the ability to password protect your meeting and set your password here so that only folks that are intended to join, you can give the password to them as well. Last but not least, if you don't like the waiting room option, we have the ability for you to add only authenticated users can join your session. This will restrict it so that only members of your organization who are signed into the Zoom account will be able to access this particular meeting. Don't forget to hit save at the bottom when you're ready to initiate any of these changes. Finally, please head over to support.zoom.us to look up other helpful articles on how you can contain your meetings and stop Zoom bombing from happening. We also published recently an article on our Zoom blog, how to keep party crashers from crashing your event. Please take a look at both of those resources and let us know if you have any additional questions. Thanks for
Cybersecurity for the people. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell.